With competitive Pokemon being at completely new heights than it has ever been before, more and more trainers are getting into VGC. The Pokemon Company's official tournament format, which is 6v6 doubles with a pick size of 4. Now, building a team in this format can be quite daunting, but this will be my guide as someone who builds teams for other trainers on the thought process of building a good team. Why have I decided to do this? Well, my name is Tempest Tries, and recently in my streams I've been asked how to build a team or how to get started on building a team. I remember when I first started team building, I didn't know what I was doing, but hopefully with this guide, it'll help you out some of you people on where to start. So, if you guys like this type of content, be sure to click subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment on your thoughts. So, most of these guides usually start off by saying your team starts off with an idea of what you would like to do. Well, before that, there is something more important that you need to figure out. Is this team for a tournament, or are you building a team to climb the ladder? In general, teams built for a tournament are much more complex than teams designed for gaining elo, but in this case, we'll be building a team for climbing ladder. As I feel building out teams built for ladder is a good gateway into getting into team building, rather than diving headfirst into the nitty-gritty of tournament team building. In preparation for this video, I haven't attempted team building for the latest VGC format, but as an experienced team builder, you will get to see the process of building a team.
I understand that not everyone likes using meta Pokemon, but as a good entry point it's important to understand what's meta before you deviate and use your favorite Pokemon, Flygon.
Alright, what is going on? My name is Tempest, and we're taking over from here now. So basically, now that you've got the idea whether you want to build a tournament team or a elo climbing team, now this is where you get into the nitty-gritty of what kind of idea of a team you would like to do. So I will leave all the resources that I use in the description down below, and yeah. Alright, so first off, I have not touched VGC regulation 2024 regulation F at all. I have not touched team building for this format one bit. So, and that's probably where a lot of you are at, and that's probably why you're watching this video. So the idea for this team, at least for me, is going to be, I just want to dip my toe into regulation F, and so as a team builder who primarily builds for doubles, this is how I would go about it. So a very good tool for a lot of Pokemon trainers out there is going to be this website right here, which is called Pikalytics, and it literally shows you the usage stats of all the Pokemon. And so general, I would look at this, I see, oh wow, Fluttermane has quite a lot of usage. You need to have some kind of Fluttermane check. I don't like dealing with Urshifu Rapid Strike, so I'm going to need some kind of Urshifu Rapid Strike check. And, well, we can build from there. So, how do I deal with Fluttermane? Well, Fluttermane will instantly implode to Heavy Slam, I believe so. And that's just kind of a knowledge check for Pokemon, but... So, I want a Pokemon... So, this is just an example. So, I want something that's going to be able to resist, like, be able to hard switch into a Fluttermane and deal damage back. So, I'm going to choose my Heatran for that. I like Heatran, it's Fire Steel type, it's great for dealing with Fluttermane. If this is my Fluttermane answer, I'm going to at least put Heavy Slam on it and Protect. Now, what does Heatran almost like Feint to? Well, I think Heatran doesn't deal with Urshifu Rapid Strike all that well. So, we can decide all the moves later, we can decide the item later, we can even decide the ability later and its Terra type later. That's the great thing about using Pokemon Showdown is it lets you instantly train up a Pokemon and test out the team later. What counters Urshifu? Well, so Urshifu, great fighting type. I know Urshifu's Single Strike is on the rise recently. As you can see, it's almost as equal usage as Rapid Strike. And due to like recent tournament results in the Charlotte Regional, you're probably going to see a lot of single strike Urshifu in the near future. So we need some kind of answer to Urshifu. And, well, what a better answer than Fluttermane itself. It's the best Pokemon in the format according to the statistics. It covers the fighting weakness of Heatran by being able to hard switch into like a close combat or something. And yeah, I think overall this would be a great pick for the team. So I'm gonna put Fluttermane on the team as well. What if they read me, right? What if my opponent decides to read me? Well, so I have a Fire Steel type here. I have a Ghost Fairy type here. And now I'm going completely off the script. So what do I do with this, right? I have a Fairy Steel type. I could add a Dragon type onto the team, but I'm gonna wait till do that later. I'd rather have a Fire, Water, Grass core. And because VGC is 4v4, I'm gonna pick a Pokemon that's a Water Grass type that can pair well with Heatran, that can pull attention away from Heatran, something that can pull away ground type moves like Stomping Tantrum or Earth Power away from Heatran. And there's really only a couple Pokemon that could fill in that niche. Alright, so I need a Pokemon with Follow Me. Right. It needs to be a Grass type. It needs to be a Water type. Right, and the only Pokemon that fits that niche is Ogerpon Wellspring. Turns out Ogerpon Wellspring is also an amazing Pokemon, so... And this will also help us deal with our Urshifu Rapid Strikes because of Water Absorb, because we can use Follow Me on this Pokemon. Right, so this is our redirection Pokemon. Now that we have these three, you need to figure out what kind of speed control you're using. Speed control can come in many forms of like Trick Room. It can come in the form of Tailwind. It can even come in the form of a Pokemon that's fast that uses Thunder Wave or Prankster Thunder Wave, or a fast Pokemon that uses Icy Wind. I think in this case I'll probably go with a Taunt Tailwind Pokemon. And I think the best Pokemon for that is Tornadus. It's allowed in this format, so I'm just going to pick Tornadus. And there we go. We have our core 4. Okay, so this will be our speed control. We need like some kind of X factor now, right? So our X factor, now this is goes into tournament team building, as that's what I'm used to. But I do think we need something here. Okay, just for because why not? We could use like a Dragon type. Let's just go Dragonite Chanpao. Real classic combo, right? Dragonite Chanpao. Just to round out the team. And the reason I did that is, well, these two Pokemon put together can just do lots of damage, and then potentially have a support with any of these Pokemon in the back. Right, so these are just generally good, strong use Pokemon. We could swap them out later in testing, but we will save that for another time. Alright, so what I like to usually do now is I like to sort out the moves, I like to sort out my EVs, I like to sort out my Terra types and all that fun jazz. So, as Heatran is our dedicated Fluttermane counter, and we're definitely going to need it now that I put a Dragonite Chanpao on here, is how do I want this thing to deal with Fluttermane? Ideally, I wanted to outspeed Fluttermane and be able to one-shot Fluttermane. So, that's a tough call. And how do you do that? Well, we're going to have to start calcing some stuff. So Fluttermane at minimum. So a lot of Fluttermanes are either Choice Scarf or Booster Energy, right? So Fluttermane at max speed, and I can just like compare it to our own Fluttermane right here. At max speed. So if I whip out a calculator here, calculator, your bog standard math calculator. 205 with a 50% boost, which is times 1.5. Right. That equals a max speed of like 308. All right, and Pokemon likes to round up, so we will say 308 is the speed to beat. So if we go ahead and clear this, so 308 Alright, so 308 is the stat to beat. So obviously, I don't think, no matter what setup you have going on right now, right, you'll never reach 308 with a Heatran. So what do we do? Well, there's a couple ways to go about this. Is what if I divide this stat by 2? Right, and 154. Do we ever reach 154? That is the question. Oh no, we actually do not. So that means we're gonna have to spec into bulk and like rely on a hard switch in, or rely on early tailwind. So let's build around that. Okay, so tailwind, taunt, right? Good. We need covert cloak for sure then, and we might as well go with bleak wind storm. And then I'm gonna do sunny day, and I'll explain why I'm gonna do use sunny day here. And I'll explain why I'll use sunny day here. So let's instead of trying to outspeed with this Pokemon, let's just try to do lots of damage with it. So maybe we won't burn protect on this Pokemon, right? I don't know. Let me just give it Heat Wave. I'll give it Earth Power, and then we could give it Flash Cannon. I don't really like that as an option. Let's just give it like Fire Blast, right? Fire Blast is a little inconsistent, but hopefully we can make it work. And let's go something a little bit more unique. Let's go like choice specs. Right, we could go choice specs. Or we could go Assault Vest in this situation if we really wanted to. Actually, I like the choice of Assault Vest. Right, Assault Vest will give us some bulk against Fluttermane's potential damage, as this Pokemon will now have to hard switch into Fluttermane in order to beat Fluttermane. If not, then it is up to Tornadus to help set up Tailwind for Heatran and all that stuff. So how do you go about speccing this? Well, VGC is run at level 50, and so that means EVs are less pronounced than they are at level 100. If you play singles or you play Smogon 6v6 doubles, it can be a little bit weird EVing for level 50, but essentially it's still base 4. So everything, at least 4 in each stat will, well, unless you're like this with a minus nature, will at least increase the stat in some way. So I want this thing to do plenty of damage, right? So I'm just gonna max out its special attack. I think 200 special attack is great. But just for the sake of EVing, I'm gonna bring it up to level 100, just for now. Right? It just makes calcing a little bit easier. And because it lets you know your benchmarks a little bit easier. So, benchmarks, what are they? Well, they're essentially certain levels of stats that a Pokemon needs to hit in order for it to be effective. We have like, so if we look here at Heatran's special defense, we'll see it's 248. Well, what's 248 times 2? And we'll explain that later. Well, actually, we'll explain that just now, right? So 248 times 2 equals 496. So ideally you want an HP stat of 496, but I don't think that is possible even with max HP on a Heatran. Yeah, so we have to go for the next best thing, right? So, but that makes Heatran already immediately really good defensively. So 350 would be your next benchmark. And then if you, so benchmarks in health are base 50. So 100, 150, 200, 250, 350, 400, 450. Okay? Those are basically what you want to be hitting normally for HP values for any Pokemon. Now, we can definitely increase this slightly. We could go 3. So once you have something like this is where I would then reduce the level back down to level 50 just to make sure you know what you're doing. At level 50, okay. So 180, let's see if we can get this up to 200. Oh, no, we cannot. Okay, let's go 180 then, or 190. I like 190. Let's go 190. I think that'll be good enough. And we can increase defense. So I'm not like calculating this for any specific stat, but so you see here how we have 190 and then 130, 130 here. This is just for general good bulk. If you really wanted to, you could spec it all into special defense if this is our dedicated Flutter main counter, but I'm just gonna spec it for general bulk. Basically what you want is you want the first number to match, so we have everything here in the hundreds. And then the second number, which is 90, or at least like 3, you want this number to be divisible into this number. And that's basically how you do general EV spreads, general use EV spreads. If you really wanted to, you could calculate it in a damage calculator and like figure out all your stats. But this is a tutorial for people who want to dip their toe into VGC without thinking about it too hard. And we'll just do this, okay? As far as Terra type goes, I'm just gonna go like Terra Water because of Urshifu Rapid Strike, even though we do have the Ogerpon Wellspring counter. I mean, I guess I could go Terra Grass as well. Actually, yeah, let's go Terra Grass because we have oh, actually no, we're gonna go Terra Water because of Ogerpon Hearthflame, I think. Oh, we do need an Ogerpon Hearthflame counter, though. Okay, so let's just go Terra Grass for now. So, Flutter Mane. Right, we need this thing to be our Urshifu counter. And I am going to use a damage calculator for this, actually. Let me just go to here. So this is a damage calculator. It's a big mess. But basically, it lets you calculate damage for certain situations that you want. Let me just get Flutter Mane in here. Right, we can just search it up. Okay, blank set for Flutter Mane. And then I need Urshifu Rapid Strike. Urshifu Rapid Strike, blank set, right? I'm gonna pick the move Moonblast. And I'm also gonna pick the move Dazzling Gleam. Right, because as this is going to be like a fighting type counter, these are the moves I'm going to be using. Right, now let's assume this is, I don't think anyone would ever do this, but let's assume this is a max special defense boosting Urshifu. And I think it's perfectly fine, even like this being like a 2-hit KO without any investment, so let me just invest the bare minimum to take this thing out with like a Dazzling Gleam. So Dazzling Gleam. Alright, so that would be the guaranteed 2 KO, but now let's look at Moonblast and let's go for a guaranteed 1-hit KO on Moonblast. We're just gonna keep increasing. Okay, well, damn. Okay, so even if an Urshifu does do this, we still have to do something about it. And I'd honestly be fine with running like Choice Specs on this Pokemon. I think Choice Specs is a great item for Flutter Mane. So if you go Choice Specs, you might as well just do something like that. Or you can even out its stats, just like that. No biggie. Let me just go Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball. Let's just go Mystical Fire for Ogerpon. And I'm just going to run a pretty standard set, as I originally wanted this thing to be redirection. So Ivy Cudgel, Horn Leech, Spiky Shield, right? So how much do I want to think about this? Well, this Pokemon either way has to be fast, right? So we're going to max out its speed. I'm gonna bring it up to level 100 just to see what I'm doing in terms of general bulk, just because it makes my life easier. Let's see here. Can I bring this up to 350? I cannot. Okay, I'm gonna bring this down to 330. Alright, I'm gonna match the special defense with physical defense. And that leaves me with 44 left over EVs. Actually, we can make this slightly better. We can actually do that. A little bit more into there. So now that matches up better with its actual health. Now, obviously these don't match like as I said before, but really the more important part is actually the second number. You want it to be at least divisible into the second number. And we can just put the rest into attack. I forgot to set the Terra type. I'm honestly not really too sure what kind of Terra type I want on this Pokemon. I think Terra Stellar has like a lot of great potential. Yeah, let me go Terra Stellar on this thing. I don't want to lose the Ghost Fairy, I don't want to lose the Ghost Fairy, typing. So I'm gonna go Terra Stellar. And if this is a Prankster Pokemon, Prankster has been so sped corrupt that I think I'm just gonna go max speed on this for now. Oh, I probably don't want that there. I just probably want this here. Alright, we'll go for a Timid Nature. We're gonna spec this for General Bulk as well, so let me go to level 100, and just to see what I'm doing. And let me move that up. So that matches. We can't get up to 350 anymore. We can get 340. What's 340 divided by 2? Well, let's find out. It's 170. Okay, so that means we can actually increase the health. We don't have to match the stats exactly. Yeah. Just do what we can then. So I'm gonna bring this up at least to 200. I'm gonna put like at least 12 into 12 into special attack, and I'm just gonna put the rest into defense. Right? It's good enough. Honestly, I'm just gonna choice band this guy. I'm gonna give him Rock Slide, E-Speed. No, give me like Ice Spin or something, and like Dragon Claw, and we'll just do that. Give it Terra Normal. This is just gonna be your bog standard, stats for these two. Let's give this thing Sash. And it'll just be what, like, we could go Icicle Crash, but I prefer Ice Spinner, especially in the meta where, like, you have Rillaboom. Go Ice Spinner. Let's just give it Sucker Punch. And go Ice Shard just for the priority. And Sacred Sword I think is also fine. We'll do that, and we'll just do that. Give it a max set. Don't really need to think about it too hard. And there we go. We got a team. I will see you guys in the test games. I'll let you know about any updates in our final team breakdown. And yeah, so hopefully this very scuffed tutorial video showed you the thought process of at least how to do EVs, how to decide move sets. I'll be able to answer any questions in the comments if you guys have any questions about team building. This was really just for someone who wants to dip their toe into the idea of getting into team building. It is quite a daunting task. It takes a lot of practice just to kind of figure out what you're doing. And yeah, and also if your EV spreads don't look like something like this, don't feel bad. Honestly, this is really unnecessary if you're trying to dip your toe into team building, but just because I build teams for other people, I like using more complex sets. But there is nothing wrong with using something like 252, 252, and dumping the rest into some other important stat, right? There's nothing wrong with using a max spread, okay? Don't let anyone ever tell you that a max set is bad, okay? Well, anyway, it's been fun. I'll see you guys in the battles, and hopefully they go well. All right, peace.